Hi, my name is Dan McGowan, and I'd like to introduce you to a cottage that I built in 1996. It's a passive solar house, small, tight, very energy efficient, super insulated, and it's here on Seneca Lake in Geneva, New York. Seneca Lake is the largest of the Finger Lakes, and we're at the north end of it. There's a beautiful view of the lake. Today is particularly nice with the weather. It looks like we're in a rural setting, but actually we're in the city of Geneva. We are on the edge of the Hobart and William Smith College campus. In fact, this used to be part of the lake frontage for Houghton House, which is their art department. Geneva is about an hour from Rochester or Syracuse, where there are international airports. Or for private jets, we're about 30 minutes from a 6,000-foot runway in Yates County in Penn Yan. So location is ideal for people who want a summer home or for people who want a vacation here in the Finger Lakes at almost any time of year. The property is located just to the north of Geneva on the Lake, which is a 4-star resort hotel. They have a dock and boathouse right adjacent to this property. The outside of the house is clad in high-quality vinyl. We have a standing seam roof, which should outlive anybody who is going to buy the house. It's a custom-made roof with an asymmetrical overhang. So the overhang is larger on the north side to protect the walkway and to protect the house, the side that doesn't receive passive solar heat, and to protect it in the winter against winds and so forth. The garage too has an overhang, a very large one, 6-foot overhang, so that snow never builds up against the doors, and it provides easy access in the wintertime. So I think we've covered a lot of the things from the outside of the house. Now I'd like to show you inside and some of the special features of this passive solar house. This is the front door facing the lake. You're coming into the living room. So this house is a passive solar house, which means that it's heavily insulated on all 6 sides. That means north, south, east, and west and the walls, but also heavy insulation underneath the house and a huge thermal mass, 90 tons in this case, a huge thermal mass, totally insulated, and the ceiling is also heavily insulated. The R factor is 38 in the walls. Now, if you look at this fireplace unit, is actually a lot of fancy brickwork, but it's part of the thermal mass. In fact, in all of that brickwork, there's only 1 6-inch flue for the fireplace. The rest of it is part of the storage unit. And the skylight, when the sun is in the right position, focuses sunlight on that mass. The morning sun will also catch part of it through the window up at the top on this east side. And then, of course, you have backup heat or a wood stove heat with this unit, which is a Vermont casting stove, very simple wood stove, which we only burn really in the wintertime when the sun doesn't shine for several days at a time. In the hearth, we've put some tools to kind of give it some character. But this wood stove is our primary source of heat in the wintertime when there's very little sun. If you didn't use the wood stove, the temperature would drop to about 55 degrees. What that means, of course, is that if you want to go away for the winter, you don't have to worry about any backup heat. The house only goes to about 55 degrees, so pipes aren't going to freeze. 55 degrees would be uncomfortable if you're going to live here, and in the wintertime you would want to use the backup wood stove or the backup electric heat. Now, if you do burn the wood stove in the wintertime, you want to use wood, and the wood storage cart is right here. This pulls out, take it out on the deck, fill up your wood cart, and then it fits nicely back here for a week. So you have the living room here where the wood stove is. The floors are locust floors, very unusual wood to be used in flooring. Usually use locust for firewood and fence posts. But this is 2, 3, and 4-inch planks. Very sturdy, very durable wood flooring. A removable partition separates the living room from the dining area. And then you have the kitchen area. The countertops have been raised slightly above the typical height. You have a recycling center in this end of the countertop, and stove, dishwasher, disposal, a place for a refrigerator with an ice maker. The refrigerator is not part of the property. Now, a passive solar house like this depends upon a central air shaft. And the air is taken from the top of the building and taken down by a fan inside of this air shaft, which I'll show you in a moment. Then the air is distributed in a manifold with pipes coming out in front of each of the windows so that the air circulates, all of the air circulates roughly 2 or 3 times an hour. It's almost imperceptible, but if you put your hand over it, you can feel it. And of course, it feels cool because it's 68 to 72 degrees. It's not like typical forced hot air by any means. The windows themselves are Anderson windows, Anderson casement windows, low E, high energy efficiency glass. If you listen as I open this door, you'll hear the fan running. This is the bottom of the air shaft. It's insulated for sound so that you don't really hear the air moving if you're out in the room. Of course, with the door open like this, you do hear the fan running. It's a very small 1/4 horse fan. It draws the air from the top of the shaft through some filters, draws it through the filters, through the fan, and then pushes it down into the manifold in the concrete. The backup heating unit, that is, if you need extra heat and you don't want to use the wood stove, the backup electric unit is underneath the fan. It's that galvanized metal box underneath the fan. It's a 600-watt heater, which is more than enough to heat the entire house if you need backup heat. This is the larger of the 2 bedrooms. You'll notice that the door is a 36-inch door. All of the doors are handicapped accessible 36 or larger doors. It gets the morning sun, faces the lake, and it has a bathroom that has efficiency in mind. It has a place for a washer and a dryer and a laundry sink. It has a shower that you can easily get into and sit down in. So it's ideal for handicapped people. The toilets are RV toilets or marine toilets, and they've been raised to handicapped height. So they're very easy to use, they're very water efficient. We always get the minimum water bill because we're not using standard 3.5 gallon flush toilets. There's also a place in this room for the water heater and for storage. This is our second bathroom or half bath. And you may notice that this is the same type of toilet that was in the master bedroom. It's a marine toilet. It's been raised so that it's a handicapped height, more comfortable to use than a typical toilet, easy to flush, very, very little water usage. And then the second bedroom is in here. Again, a 36-inch door and a large closet. Now we're going to take a look at the second deck on the side of the house, the one that faces solar south. We come out through the kitchen door and right out on the deck. In the wintertime, when the leaves are off the trees in the late afternoon, this area is bathed in sunlight and an ideal place for a cookout. You can have a grill here, and the sun kind of pours in and is captured in this area. Now we're going to take a look upstairs in the attic, which is part of the energy envelope. So the temperature upstairs will be exactly the same as the temperature downstairs. So we'll walk upstairs here and take a look at the attic area. This is an attic area, but it's not a typical attic area because the temperature up here is exactly the same as the temperature down on the first floor. One of the features of this house is that inside the walls, and here you can see an interior wall, or inside the ceiling, there is no insulation. All the insulation is outside of the wall. In this second skylight, and we saw one on the first floor, this second skylight, we used to have a hot tub here. The construction is overbuilt. All of the rafters and so forth are 2x10s. The floor is very solid. It will hold anything that you care to put on it. In this area, we also have a sub panel, an electrical feed for upstairs. There's only 2 lines on it at the moment, but there's plenty of room for additional circuits if that's necessary, or if they wanted to develop the second story. Here, the water and the sewer have been brought up so that the basic utilities are already here, and this space could be developed into 3 additional bedrooms and a bath. From downstairs, the air comes up through near the cathedral ceiling and comes through this shaft, which of course has been drywalled and so forth, over to the main air shaft, which we saw downstairs. At the bottom of this shaft is the fan and the extra heater. So the air is circulated from downstairs to upstairs and then down through this shaft. And when it comes back up, it comes in front of every window on the first floor, and it comes up in front of the windows here on the second floor, so that the air is continuously circulated in this space as well as on the first floor. And that's a typical Adirondack alternate energy design, fully insulated house, central air shaft, 100 tons of concrete, or 90 to 100 tons of concrete, as part of the energy battery and the energy efficiency system. Now, before we go downstairs, I'd like to take a look at the area above the garage, which is just storage space, not insulated, just a storage area that is here on the second floor. And at the end of the storage area, so that you're not bringing everything up and down the stairs, you have doors that open up, and you can easily bring anything you'd like upstairs here. In addition to this very large area of storage, there's a small storage area here for items that you don't use very often. This garage is 28 by 32 feet. So it's a very large two-car garage. Plenty of storage on the side of every door for lawnmowers or whatever else. A workbench and workbench area on this side of the garage. It's a super insulated garage. That is, you have the polyisocyanurate in the walls, and you have 6 inches of blown-in insulation over the ceiling. So in the wintertime, or if you want a little extra heat, you can touch off a Vermont Castings wood stove, exactly the same wood stove as in the living room, on the theory that if the stove in the living room doesn't function properly, you have an immediate backup here. And if you touch that off, this room is toasty. It's absolutely delightful to work in the garage in the wintertime if you have the wood stove for backup. One of the features of this house is its convenience. If you drive in the wintertime, you have groceries, you're completely out of the weather. A ramp can be installed here if you needed it for wheelchair access. Otherwise, it's simply one step into the entryway, and then through this door, and you're into your kitchen. I want to thank you very much for taking this virtual tour of the McGowan Cottage at 7 One Mile Point in Geneva, New York. It's a unique house. If you want more information on construction or any other physical attributes of the house, by all means, give me a call. Or check with Adirondack Alternate Energy because there's 350 houses that are similar but very different from this one. Thank you.